Geeks in the closet. 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 Oh, I messed it up already.
We're geeks
in the closet. We're geeks in the closet. We're geeks in the closet. We're geeks in the closet. 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 And we are the Geeks in the Closet, in case you didn't notice. My name is Conor.
Hey, Conor.
Hi. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Fran.
And this is episode 1 of our new podcast, Geeks in the Closet. Who wants to explain why we call it the Geeks in the Closet? Fight over it.
Sure, I'll give it a whack.
Pick me. Off you go.
Okay, essentially we're geeks in the closet because we are 3 fully grown geeks who have not admitted to the outside world just how geeky we are.
Apart from to each other.
Apart from each other. This is our little circle of trust. It's kind of like our weekly AA meeting. So we get everything off our chest. And add to that, boys?
Not really.
No, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
that's it in a nutshell. We're not out to the greater public that we are in fact as nerdy as we really, really are.
Yeah.
And
they think we're fully functioning adults, but we're not.
This is our method of venting. We want to, because we talk about to each other too much about all the geeky stuff. So now we're sending it out to the
stratosphere.
Yeah, to the greater populace of the world. So yeah, I think that's it. So what I think our potential listeners, hello if you are listening.
Let's start
with one.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Listener.
Hey, Mom. No, my mum doesn't know I'm a geek. That's how much in the geek closet I am. My parents think I'm perfectly normal. They have no idea that I do this in my spare time. I'd be thrown out if I was.
So what makes us geeks? That's what really is important. So Jason, what makes you a geek? Why are you a geek? And
I'm a pretty big geek. I am probably the jack of all trades of the group. The boys have their own interests, but I kind of share them for a lot of things. So Fran, as he'll probably say later on, he's very into his
spoilers,
very into his novels and things like that. I will read a lot of those as well. Conor's very big into his games and things like that, and I will also partake in a lot of them. I'm probably, in terms of gaming, probably the biggest AAA player. So big games like your Halos, your Gears of War, your Final Fantasies, your Dragon Ages, anything like that, I will be playing those games. So I guess that's my qualification, really.
Okay. Francis, what's your geek qualifications? List them, please, for our listener.
My geek qualifications, interesting point. What have I done? I'm a huge book fan. Everything from fantasy to sci-fi. I usually keep an eye on what's coming up and what's appearing. Anything to do with fantasy, whether it's a game or a book or a TV show. Big Game of Thrones fan. Love Harry Potter. That was probably my Pokemon. I'd say is my first gateway geek drug.
Yeah, I think it's the same
for all of us.
Yeah, they hooked me on the cards.
And Pokemon and Harry Potter.
Those cards.
Yeah, and then the Harry Potter books, like, that was just phenomenal.
Did you ever go to a shop at like 11:30 at night to be there?
Midnight release.
Yeah.
But my Harry Potter origin story is very unusual. It's I thought Harry Potter was the author and not the books. Don't ask me why. That's
Harry
how
Potter, the autobiography.
Not geeky my community is. Like, I mean, Harry Potter was a concept everyone was kind of aware of, but no one knew specific details about.
Different in London though. I was over in London for the release of I'm gonna say the Deathly Hallows. I'm not quite sure, but I just happened to be there, and I was going into Tesco's for the midnight opening. Usually I'd be back home for that, but I was in Tesco Tesco of all places. But there was a guy fully dressed as a wizard with an entire trolley full of the books just heading out.
Wow.
Crazy. It's crazy. You wouldn't get that back home.
No,
absolutely not.
What about you, Conor? What makes you a geek?
I think the main thing is how I get really, really into whatever topic it is. So like in Pokemon, like, not to brag, but I think in Pokemon I'd know the most about Pokemon in the 3 of us.
No competition there,
right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be into everything. But yeah, I remember really, really specifically 8 years old, in a shop I saw Pokemon Blue and I was like, hey, I've seen that a few times on TV. on the den, and I begged and pleaded with my mother, and I made a deal that it was going to be part of my Christmas present and part of my birthday present. So like I sacrificed things at 8 years old. I was sacrificing things for geeky stuff. Out of the three of us, I suppose I don't really have a speciality, do I? No, I don't think I do. I just think whatever I know very, very well.
You'd be kind of in depth with the more indie sort of games, the more
obscure
RPG type things.
Yeah, I suppose. And then so Pokemon, Final Fantasy. I can't claim Game of Thrones because you guys introduced me to that. Thank you for the many, many months of tears and pain as I read through the books.
Yeah, we're glad and sorry.
I both am thankful and hate you. So yeah, I think that's us. So what we're going to do now, we're going to start going into our actual proper podcast and stop rambling on, and we're going to go to the news with Jay. So Jay, off we go with the news.
Welcome to Geeks in the Closet News.
No,
you doing the sound?
I was going. No,
I thought we had talked about that, but clearly
I just was like on the fly. Jay, news, go, and stop me rambling.
Geeks in the Closet. So, starting with movie news. Avatar 2 delayed. According to ABC News, the long-awaited sequel will now be delayed to late 2017. The delay comes as James Cameron is ambitiously attempting to shoot the script simultaneously for his planned follow-up trilogy to 2009's Avatar. Cameron, being Cameron, is again pushing the technological boundaries of film making with underwater motion capture. I'm betting Andy Serkis is probably involved.
If it's motion capture.
I feel like we've heard this story before, though. Like, it keeps getting delayed, no?
Delayed, yeah.
Is it how many? When it was 2009 was the first one.
Yes.
We were in college.
Yes.
We walked to the cinema, I think, in the snow.
Which was a long time ago, folks. Yeah.
And then we walked home like
again, sacrificing normality.
Again, this is our geek pilgrimage.
But like, hang on, 2009 to 17, it'll be nearly.
I believe the plan is he's shooting them all at the same time, so that when they finally are done, it'll be a year release. Like every year there'll be another Avatar, but they'll all kind of be done.
Did Star Wars push that off the top, or is Avatar still on top for like?
I think Star Wars has smashed all records.
Yes, it's broken.
Okay, so
it has broken. Yeah.
No, it definitely has.
Okay, in Marvel news. Geek.com reports that 3 new characters will be joining Star-Lord's crew in the upcoming Marvel Universe sequel. Nebula, Yondu, and newcomer Mantis will be joining the group. You'll remember Nebula as the crazed blue cybernetic sister of Gamora.
Kangol.
Yondu as the blue-skinned red mohawk Motormouth with a deadly whistling arrow. Played by the excellent Michael Rooker. Mantis is rumoured to be played by actress Pom Klementieff from Oldboy. And that's scheduled for release May 5th, 2017.
Okay.
Also in Marvel news, Geek.com reports that Cate Blanchett will join the cast of Thor Ragnarok after Mark Ruffalo, aka the Hulk, let slip she'll be playing a villain. It is rumoured she'll be playing the part of Hela, the ruler of Hell and Niflheim. A possible team up with Loki on the cards. Niflheim, Francis. And that's scheduled for a November 3rd release 2017.
I didn't know that, and that excites me because she is such a Amazonian, terrifying kind of character. Like, do you remember her in Narnia?
Is that her with no eyebrows?
Oh wait, no. I always
you're mixing
do this.
that up with Tilda Swinton, I think. No, Cate Blanchett, I think, probably auditioned without realising it when she did Lord of the Rings. You know that scene where she freaks out.
Yeah.
She's also in the most recent Indiana Jones as the kind of Russian one with the really dodgy accent.
Yeah.
That was a real random thing. Yeah, no, she's either way. Even if I did mix up the actresses, and I always do that, I still think she's going to be.
It's the Quaid Costner equation all over.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't understand that, Dennis Quaid and
Kevin
Costner are the same person.
One and the same.
One and the same.
Just for tax purposes.
Yeah.
They use different names for tax purposes.
They're very interchangeable. Okay. XMen news. IGN reports that both producer and writer Simon Kinberg and director-writer Bryan Singer have strongly hinted they'll be adapting the hugely popular Dark Phoenix saga in future X-Men movies. The change in the timeline due to the events of Days of Future Past allows for the filmmakers to right some of the wrongs done with the Dark Phoenix storyline in X-Men The Last Stand.
The unforgivable wrongs.
Singer has also hinted that elements of Jean Grey's transformation into Dark Phoenix may be present in the upcoming X-Men Apocalypse when Game of Thrones actress Sophie Turner takes on the role.
I think she looks more like Jean Grey than Famke. What's her name?
I'm calling her Famke. I've always called her Fam. There's no I in there.
Is she the
whoever your one that was Jean Grey in
the
first,
adult Jane Grey?
Yeah, in the
Okay,
first
okay,
in
yeah.
the like 2000s
yeah.
X-Men movies. I think Sophie Turner is a better Jean Grey than her.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
What the hell is her name? Famke Johnson.
It's Famke. I've always been calling her Famke, but I have no idea how to pronounce it. She's
please.
she's like
I don't know.
she's Icelandic or Finnish or something like that. I don't
I have
know.
to find out.
Yeah.
Go on and read the next news while I.
Okay,
research the news.
DC news. Wonder Woman. 2017 will be a massive year for Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. The Wonder Woman solo movie has just received a release date of the 23rd of June 2017. We will see her again very shortly in 5 months following that, following her solo debut, as she will be joining the roster of superheroes in the upcoming Justice League movie, which has been given a release date of November 2017. Gadot's Wonder Woman will be joining Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, Jason Momoa's Aquaman, Ezra Miller's The Flash, and Ray Fisher's Cyborg in the DC Universe's first team-up movie.
Excellent.
Are we getting background stories for those others, or are we just presuming?
I
that-
think-
We're getting the opposite to Marvel.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. DC
Yeah.
are
Good
basically-
idea.
So like Marvel were like, here's Iron Man, here's Iron Man again, here's Captain America, and they
Thor.
threw them out, and then everyone came together. So they're going the other way around, which is a
Yeah.
really good move for DC, I think, because at least they kind of get the big hump of the initial release.
Yeah, well, they came late to the party. I mean, The Dark
Yeah.
Knight was a great
Yeah.
trilogy, but to actually set up the whole universe, they were coming really late to the party. So this is a good way for them to get everything out there. But also, if it tanks, it's a horrible decision. So it really depends on how it works out.
Plus, they
if
kind
they-
of hoping that the whole superhero trope lasts that long. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't know how long
Yeah.
this could
My
implode.
dad pointed out to me that this is like what westerns are like
Yeah.
back in the day.
And
like
now-
it's now everything is superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're getting their big hitter out 1st, and then if the superhero thing closes up, and they've made their money, I suppose.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, jumping on that bandwagon, in other movie news, we have something that's sure to cause a bit of debate among the Geeks in the Closet members. Forbes has just reported that Tom Cruise has been cast in the lead for Universal's upcoming Mummy reboot,
Oh, I heard
which
this.
aims to link Universal's library of classic monsters in a shared universe similar to Marvel and DC.
They should just brought back Brandon Fraser.
It's not that
Brendan,
Brendan-
yeah,
Brendan.
yeah.
I don't
absolutely.
care. Just
I
give
loved
me
him in it.
He's
No, it's good, but I think I heard somewhere that it is. I don't know. I think it's not that same storyline. It's
Okay.
not that.
Oh, it's going to be different. I think it's more based on the classic, The Mummy, and it's going to be linked in with like the Dracula
Dracula
Untold,
Untold.
that we saw,
Brilliant
the
movie.
Wolfman movie,
Very good.
the Frankenstein movie, which
That's what I was gonna say. I Frankenstein was that officially? Well, that obviously they haven't tied it together, but was
I'm a
that
bit
the
confused
idea?
about that. Is it the I Frankenstein movie, or is it the new one with Daniel Radcliffe?
The young
that's gonna
I
be-
think they are linked. I think.
Yes.
I wish I hands up. I didn't see either of them.
Okay.
No.
I Frankenstein. I think is the Frankenstein monster in that is the one that Victor Frankenstein creates in the recent one with Daniel Radcliffe and your man.
That's strange because that movie brings like angels and stuff into the fore. Like
hear.
that
I just think they should
Yeah.
go back and fix League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yes,
Do
absolutely.
that properly, and it'll be
absolutely. Well,
amazing.
famously, that's the role that Sean Connery took instead of being Gandalf. In
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. God love me, just can't pick a good role. You really
No,
can't.
you really can't.
You
But
really
you know what?
can't.
We got Ian McKellen, so I mean, I think that's a fair trade.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, over to TV news. The Daily Beast reports that actress Gillian Anderson was originally offered half David Duchovny's pay for the newly resurrected X-Files show. Anderson reportedly stuck to her guns and refused Fox's initial offer until equal pay was on the table. She has called Fox's initial offer sad.
In that
Fran
tone of
had
voice.
Fran had to hold me back.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Oh, I hate that.
Connor's quite angry.
Connor-
now.
yeah.
For our listener.
Yeah.
Connor's quite angry.
For our listener, for Fran's mom, I am very angry right now. I hate it when that happens, and it makes no sense. And what I think is interesting, there was a survey, something on those. I
Yes.
think it was Forbes brought it out that they kind of got a hold of the big actors, compared how much money they earned to how much money films they were in profited,
okay.
and the top 10 out of the top 10 actors you can get your most your bang for your buck for, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
9 were women, and everyone was like, "Oh, isn't that great? People are going to see movies." And I was like, "No, it's because they're paying women nothing, compared to the men." And Johnny Depp was the worst actor to get your money back on
Really?
for 2015. Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know why.
Because there was no Pirates of the Caribbean that year.
Well, I just think it's because the movies he's in are shocking bad.
What was he in this year?
There was a bit of that. He was in that movie where he becomes like AI. I didn't see it.
I saw that.
And he was in Black Mass. That was recent enough.
Yeah, I also didn't see that, but I heard initially good things and then some bad things. So I don't know.
But it's not Tim Burton, so it's different.
Okay, well, Anderson kind of is a good case study for that, I think, because in the 90s she was kind of... It was the first time you'd have a woman in that kind of a role. Like, she was to the fore. They kind of tried to play it like Mulder was the main character for a while, and they even from that article I was reading, she was told initially in the first couple of seasons that she couldn't stand directly beside him and things like that. She couldn't walk beside him and things like that.
Well, originally it was like when she auditioned for the role initially, she went in with an ill-fitting suit, and she was ginger, and she was quite short compared to David Duchovny.
Yeah.
And the script was like that she was this 6-foot blonde bombshell type thing that didn't really have a clue what was going on, but he was taking her along for the ride. And I think it's great because have you heard of the Scully effect?
What's the Scully effect?
You heard of the Scully effect?
I'm intrigued.
So the Scully effect is that now, because people who grew up watching the X-Files, they were so... Women specifically were so impressed with her in the X-Files that in the years since, more and more and more women have gotten into the STEM fields and into law enforcement and all that kind of thing.
Wow.
And it's kind of it's not like every woman has been like, oh, I did this because of Scully, but they think it stems from that. Stems.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I think it was the first thing I remember. I don't know if it was the first time exactly, but it was the first series I remember where a female character actually...
Xena.
I love how we just shot him down.
You didn't let me finish my sentence.
No,
a female character was perceived as being the intellectual match of the male lead as well.
Oh, we should have let him finish.
You should have let me finish. Really. Just jumped right in there, but she was allowed to be a professional in her own right. She was not just the love interest of the main character. So, moving on. Doctor Who news.
Yes.
In news that is sure to shock Conor if he hasn't heard it.
I have.
The BBC has reported that Stephen Moffat has quit. Moffat, I apologise. Has quit his role as lead writer and executive producer of Doctor Who. He's to be replaced by Broadchurch creator Chris Chibnall? I'm going to say Chibnall. There's a B in there.
I don't know.
Moffat, as I'm now calling him, will step down after the conclusion of Series 10, while the departure of the series appears to be amicable, and Moffat's decision, he will be missed. Since he took the helm of the show in 2010, it has become a worldwide success and has spawned 2 spin-off series.
Yeah.
Torchwood and...
The
Sarah
Jane Chronicles.
Yeah.
Did that
last
one?
It would have put the actress who was Sarah Jane passed away.
Ooh.
Yeah. She was the Sarah Jane in the original older Doctor Who series.
Okay.
Be with me.
Let's dedicate this episode to her. So
I'll find out
Since
her
that
name so
came
we
up.
can say it.
Okay.
No, yeah.
He smiles awkwardly.
It's really weird because I've been reading a lot of people's reactions to that, and some people are like, "Yay, he's gone!" But I really like Moffat. I think he's a really good writer, and the best, hands down, the best episode of Doctor Who in the new years was Blink. Oh, yeah, you've seen that. Did I make you
I've
watch
seen
that?
the concept.
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah, and that was him.
Yeah.
And he also created River Song.
But surely he
was
did
also
most of the episodes, no?
He did most of the episodes since he became the showrunner.
Yeah.
But he's quitting now as showrunner.
Oh, Blink was
Russell
fantastic.
T Davies was the showrunner before.
Blink was fantastic.
Ooh,
I
yes.
never thought I'd like Doctor Who, and Conor got me into it.
Yeah, it did.
And he did it by showing me the episode Blink, and then I kind of said to myself, okay, he's kind of onto something.
Now, I did warn you that was a very unusual episode.
Yes, yeah, but at the same time, if you're someone who just clicks on to Doctor Who and you spend 10 minutes watching it, you'd be like, what is this?
Exactly.
Should I be watching this? The effects aren't great. The acting is very whimsical. I don't know if this is for me, but give it a chance.
Yeah. Elizabeth Sladen was the original Sarah Jane, and she died in 2011, so this is very old news. But still, thank you for your contribution to Geek. Dumb.
This one's for you, Sladen.
And moving on to gaming news, if I may. Dragon Age. Dragon Age lead writer leaves BioWare after 17 years. According to Polygon, David Gader, the writer behind Dragon Age and other BioWare games such as Knights of the Old Republic, has left the company after almost 2 decades. Gader took to Twitter to clarify that leaving was solely his decision, but as of now has no future plans in the industry.
How old is he?
Good question. I have no idea.
Like,
But,
is he retiring?
From his picture that I saw, he's in maybe his, I don't know, mid to late 40s, or maybe he's just looking well. I don't know. I don't know.
It's the Picard complex. Like,
Yeah.
Andy Picard hasn't
Although
aged.
if you look at him in the first few seasons of Star Trek Next Generation, and then look at him now, it's noticeable. But it's just that from year to year, it's very
Yeah.
see.
That makes me sad because Dragon Age is an awesome series.
Absolutely, and the storytelling and dialogue is probably the strongest part of the series.
Yeah, the background,
Absolutely.
the world building is huge.
There's some RPG games that do world building a little bit better, but they just don't do the level of banter you get with Dragon Age. You just don't get it.
And they're so depending on what characters you have in your team, there's completely different conversations. So they've prepared personalities, clashes.
Absolutely, yeah. Like the likes of Fable, you got some decisions that you can make there, but nothing to the level of Dragon Age, the way you can literally have party members leave based on how much you've ticked them off. You just don't get that anywhere. It's fantastic trying to manage them and keep them all, but they're all lovable characters. Like, I can't think of a character I don't like from Dragon Age.
No.
I can think of lots of characters I don't like because I've never played it.
You shall. Your time shall come.
I know.
Is there talk of a new Dragon Age?
Possibly, but the fact that the writers left is kind of it's up in the air a little bit now. But there will be a new one, absolutely. So moving on, Destiny 2, a game that should take advantage of David Gator's availability, is Bungie, who Kotaku have just reported that the Destiny 2 will not make its September 2016 release. And this was unannounced. This comes as no surprise, as the first Destiny, while a reasonably successful game and fun, didn't meet expectations at all. Destiny has been heavily criticised for its lack of story and repetitive gameplay. Bungie, however, have a great pedigree, being the creators of Halo, and hopefully the delay means they're taking more care with storytelling this time around.
Excuse my ignorance, but is that a Microsoft team jumping over to Sony?
Well,
Halo versus
Bungie were their own independent, but they made a game exclusively for Microsoft, but they're not exclusively affiliated with Microsoft.
Okay.
So what happens is they 343 Industries bought the Halo franchise from them from Halo 4 onwards.
Okay.
And basically, I think Microsoft were trying to interfere a bit too much or something like that. I'm not sure, but
They interfered with, what was it, Rise of the Tomb Raider?
Yeah,
Well, that was awful.
big time. But anyway, they created their own new IP, which is Destiny, which is what they wanted to do. So they did that, but it's a good game, good MMO. Takes a lot of RPG elements, even though it's a shooter, which is quite good. But they just butchered the story. There isn't a story. Like, there's no storyline, and a lot of the missions are very repetitive. As in, you go to the same place again that you've been to before. You kill the same enemies that you've killed before. There's always something like your little AI ball that follows you around that's used to be voiced by Tyrion Lannister would go and try and fix something, and while he's doing that you get attacked by a horde, and this happens in every mission. Like, it was just way too repetitive, so it kind of let everybody down, really. I was expecting a lot. A lot.
Anyway, moving on. What's your next little beat?
Okay, the big news
Yay.
is the NX.
I know of this, but I know
It's a
nothing.
bombshell, this one. Nintendo NX leak has revealed some startling possible details and features of Nintendo's next console venture. The NX is planned to be released as two separate units, with a portable element launching first in November and the console half launching sometime in 2017. The portable handheld part is rumoured to cost around $200. Both devices are set to have some kind of augmented reality component. The leak from Liam Robertson also claims that the NX will support gameplay flow between devices, web surfing and video calls, support 4K at 60 frames per second, and gameplay graphics at 900p at 60 frames per second. The 60 frames per second is rumoured to be a constant 60 frames per second at 900 pixels. And
numbers are fun.
to put that into context for anyone who doesn't understand, Fallout
So
4
most people.
runs at 30 frames per second. That's a big AAA title that runs very well.
You
and
said
smoothly.
AAA now. I'm thinking of batteries here. What are we talking about?
That
AAA,
means
it's
that means a
kind of like
massive company, like a massive game,
Okay.
like the likes of your Halos, the likes of your GTAs.
So
as
to
opposed
put
to
it
your
into
small
film,
indie games.
to put it into film versions, Michael Collins, the film, would not be a AAA, whereas Batman vs Superman would be a AAA movie. So it's that game. Also, you said something else, gaming jargon, I thought, because I didn't know about it for years. You said IP. Would you explain to our listeners what IP means?
Listener.
Sorry. For our one listener, if an IP generally means your own unique game that you're bringing out. So if you're bringing out a new IP, it means a game that has not existed before in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. So
do you know what it stands for?
I have no idea what it stands for.
I do.
Go on, Conor, but you know it all.
Go on, guess, Fran.
Because I don't know what it is. Individual platform.
Oh, very close. Well, no, not at all. Intellectual property.
A new intellectual property makes sense.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
Because they don't like franchise. But anyway, we go.
Okay, it's a gold star for you. Yeah. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't understand this frames per second jargon, Fallout 4 runs at 30 frames per second. Now, PlayStation and Xbox can run games at 60 frames per second, but it's usually your more basic, your more indie titles that will actually do that, the less complicated typed games. Yeah. But if you're looking for your big AAA games, they will generally run. Fallout 4 is 30 frames per second. Your likes of your Far Cry will also be 30 frames per second. Call of Duty runs from 30 to 45 frames per second. So if Nintendo are bringing out a console that constantly runs 60 frames per second, now this is only rumoured, but the possibilities are endless. Can you imagine playing that new Zelda at constant 60 frames per second?
But is this going to turn out to be like The Hobbit, where like, you know, they were
that
pushing
was
this
40.
massive frames per second, and all of us came over going, that was weird.
Yeah.
But the reason for that was because it was the camera. So when we were watching The Hobbit, especially that opening scene where Smaug first attacked that town, I thought that looked because the camera was getting better quality. The set looked fake because
it's looking more like you're actually.
It looks more like
especially
an
the start when you were seeing Erebor, where the dwarves lived. Like that looked like a TV movie.
Yeah,
so bright
it did.
and weird.
Yeah.
But that won't happen with games because it's a creative thing. It's not a real thing, so they can make it look more and more kind of grungy and dark and have more detail.
I think it's just going to make games faster and smoother, not as clunky.
Yeah. Okay. The idea of a Zelda universe like that would be amazing.
Awesome.
Yes, it very, very much so would.
Very much so. So I've written insert clever sign off here, which I failed to do, so I'm using that as my sign off this week.
Okay, so do you want to sign off now?
Insert clever sign off here.
Very funny. Okay, that was a lot. That was a lot of very good news, and we got a lot of interesting things into it. Well done.
Sweating there.
For the first episode, that was. I'm very impressed.
It'll be smaller next week.
That's what she said.
Oh,
sorry, Mom.
I was just about to say your mum was going to be
And Fran's fulfilling his role of dragging this podcast down in the first episode.
Down into the depths of his mind. So here's what I want to know from you two guys. Seeing as this is our first episode and it is the start of a new year, I thought when we're beginning, why don't we look at the past? So in other words, 2015. Let's just talk quickly about that.
A good year.
It was a good year.
Fine vintage.
Do we want to talk in general, or we go like TV, film, games, or we just...
Oh God, give me a break. Start with Francis.
Alright, Francis, go.
Right, yeah, 2015 was an excellent year for the geek. I think it was in the Chinese zodiac, it was the year of the geek. Right, TV was an excellent year for TV, especially Netflix. Netflix really came out of the gate. They had some massive heavy hitters: Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and my personal favourite, Sense8.
Oh, that
very good
is such a good show.
Possibly Netflix's first failure, according to
which
everything online.
So
really,
much.
yeah, it does.
But at least they got their second season. Do you know?
Yeah.
That was a fear for me for a while.
What a great show!
Anyone I've ever talked to on a one-to-one basis loved it. Said it was amazing.
Yeah. I think more people just need to give it a chance. I don't think that's happened or something. I don't know what it is.
It is a kind of a show that, like, I remember watching first episode, you're there going, okay. Like, I suppose geeks, people like us, we are used to being confused.
Yeah.
And we're used to settling into something and getting into it and then discovering
understanding what you didn't understand.
Exactly. Whereas people who are used to watching Breaking Bad and things like that, which are all very good programs, but when they're based in a reality and then you go to something that is not, it can be a bit jarring. I think that might be why, but who knows?
Yeah, definitely.
Other TV shows. What, Jay? What was your kind of television highlight?
Television highlight for me was Penny Dreadful season 2.
Ooh, closer to home.
Yeah,
literally.
Closer to home.
Yeah,
I never.
Star-studded.
It's something I need to watch.
I love the tone. It's if you like Bloodborne out there, this is the show for you. It's got its Victorian elements. It's you know.
Timothy Dalton.
It's got something. It's got Timothy Dalton.
And Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett.
Very good actor.
Yeah. Very good actor who's
Eva
left
Green?
Hollywood. Well, that goes without saying. It's got a Bond girl, people.
Yeah.
It's good. It's very dark. It's very witty. Yeah, it was good season 2.
Yeah.
Nice villains introduced into it. I quite liked. Without giving anything away. Yeah, that's my pick. It was fantastic. Season 1 was probably slightly better, but season 2 still great.
I'm still watching season 1 actually.
Yeah.
You two like
My TV shows.
No one asked you, Connor.
I'm getting my say. I'm standing up for my rights as a human being. So no, I'm going to say my favorite TV show, but I want to give 2 honorable mentions. Okay. So my favorite was Jessica Jones. Netflix's Jessica Jones. I thought it was fascinating. Every single time an episode ended, I got so angry because it was like, it's really late and I want to watch the next one right now.
The pitfalls of Netflix and
I
binge
know.
watching. Yeah.
So no, but it was brilliant. It was so good. The acting was brilliant. The writing was brilliant. David Tennant was just fantastic.
A revelation.
Oh, he was unreal. Honorable mentions though. I wanted to write an honorable mention to The Walking Dead, the latest season of The Walking Dead. No
Spoilers.
I'm not saying any spoilers. I'm just saying that it deserves an honorable mention.
Okay.
It's a kind of a
That's
return
enough
to
said
form.
about that. Move on now.
In case you can't figure out Fran's mom, Jay and Fran have not seen it all. So
No.
And the other honourable mention is also the latest season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It got damn good. Oh, leave it. Leave it.
It did get better, Fran.
It's
If
so
you stuck in
2D
there.
though. I like
It's
my
not.
TV with a
It's
little
not
more
under the dome.
meat.
It's not under the dome.
No, I give up on that.
Anyone who watches under the
My
dome
life
is
choices.
just no.
I have to say, Jessica Jones, I loved, but it took me about 4 or 5 episodes to kind of understand why they bothered to make it into a TV show. First couple of episodes was like, right, out of the entire Marvel stable, why did they pick Jessica Jones? But then I honestly think as David Tennant became more and more of a character, I could understand. I think they made that show for David Tennant to showcase.
He's a great villain, though. Like, I mean, besides Loki, he's probably, in my opinion, the best Marvel villain there's been. And he's so
See, that's a flaw of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Absolutely,
there isn't enough good, terrifying.
Oh yeah,
But
they're kind of just
eating. Yeah,
they're just for one movie.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're watching something on Netflix, you kind of get a better chance. You get a bit of time with them.
You get to know them.
You get to know. Well, you get to know them like in pure hours. You get to know them way more than any character you would get in the Marvel universe.
Definitely.
I liked Kingpin though.
I was just going to say as well. Kingpin was very good as well. But like,
again,
you get
that's
to
because
know
it's a
him.
TV show.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. My favorite Marvel villain though, and I'm just like, oh, can they bring it back? Was Red Skull. I in the first Captain America movie.
Why?
I don't know. I just thought. Well, first Hugo Weaving. I mean, he's king of our kind. But
long may he reign.
Yes, but he. I don't know. I just think it was much. It was just very, very interesting, and he was such a good actor in it, and he's a very unique looking villain compared to all the others that we've had.
I can't remember now. Did we see him die, or did he disappear in some kind of portal type
What happened
thing?
was the Tesseract, the big blue cube thing. It was going haywire, and it started creating little portals, and he got sucked away into it.
So he's out there hanging out with Thanos.
That's what I think.
That's what he's doing.
But I don't think it's going to happen at the same time. I think it's like that's what would happen if we were reading a comic book. But because it's a movie,
It's
and
Hugo
you need
Weaving and
Hugo
it's Red
Weaving,
Skull. He's got to come back.
I don't think so. It's been too long. I think it's been too long. I think,
But that could be a great moment in the movies, like where say if Thanos has all these generals and he's one of them.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like he's in charge of a certain aspect.
I've never seen
when you think Cap, the only villain who comes to mind for me is Red Skull.
Oh yeah,
That's what I mean.
But they need to start keeping stuff under wraps a little bit more. Like there's no when you go to a Marvel film, there's no like what
That's an industry problem.
he's in it.
Yeah,
Like, that could be a huge Hugo
Like they
Weaving
should have
moment.
kept at least Black Panther under wraps or something. It should have been.
So we're
like,
talking about movies of 2015 now. Clearly.
Oh, that was smooth.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
They definitely should have. There are two. What's the word? Loose-lipped. They're too excited to be like, hey, look what we have. Look what we're going to do.
but it's the world we live in where anyone can just leak something with their iPhone. They just take a snap of something, and all of a sudden, oh, we see this costume, or this person's on set. They must be doing this.
Having said that, the three of us knew nothing about our collective film of the year of 2015.
No, we did not.
We knew like there was very little.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Star Wars.
It's I don't. I think it's the kind of a thing. It's obviously the film of the year for us.
But Star Wars, I think, is unique in that like everyone was on board and it was sacrosanct. Like if you were the person who blabbed or leaked about anything to do with Star Wars, you would have been hated for the rest of your life, and you knew it.
Did you hear about the guy who was outside the movie theater in somewhere in America, and he started giving all these spoilers to the crowds waiting.
No.
And they
In Homer Simpson style.
They mob rushed him,
Yeah.
bet the crap out of him, and then the police didn't press charges because said it was justified.
Well, it freaking was.
Are you kidding me?
No, I heard this. Yeah,
I'm
I heard
kind of
this.
horrified and a little proud of that
Yeah.
in a strange way. Not that we're condoning any sort of violence
No.
on this show.
Unless
But,
people spoil something, in which case have at it. So, bar Star Wars, what would your film of the year be? I think mine would be, again, I can't make up my mind, but Inside Out, Pixar's Inside Out. I'm a big Disney nerd, we know that. And Ex Machina, the movie with Donald Gleeson, Oscar Isaac, and go on.
Pondered picking Ex Machina. I really flirted with the idea. I eventually chose The Martian, but which was a very, very good movie, very well put together, very well thought out, really fun to watch. But Ex Machina, that was close second. That was an intense movie to watch.
It was. Did you see it?
No, I did not.
You will after this podcast.
Yeah.
As will our listener.
You should watch it together. Fran, your film of the year?
I have Star Wars down, of course. I also mentioned The Martian. That's kind of it. I don't know whether this is just a token gesture, but I put down Age of Ultron as well. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't perfect by any means.
No, but it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't. It just.
Nothing Joss Whedon does is bad.
No.
Yeah.
I know. I really enjoyed it,
Not doing any
but it was
more.
definitely eclipsed by the likes of The Martian and Star Wars. Do you know what I mean?
Oh well, Star Wars eclipsed everything. Like, to be fair, we should only been talking about Star Wars really, but
Yeah.
we're not.
What did you like about Star Wars?
Can I say everything and just be like really boring like that? It was everything.
Okay, if you break it down, the music was amazing all the way through it. I don't know why I picked
As
that
always.
first.
As always.
The action sequences.
Yeah.
I mean, the bloody fight between Kylo Ren and Rey at the end.
Yeah,
and
was
a
great.
guest spot from Finn.
It was such a nice ode to the originals. If you break down the movie, it's very similar to Episode 4 and
Episode 4.
in a lot of ways. But they just pulled it off in such a way that nobody cared. It was just a nice way to revisit the series.
Homage, as you will.
Yeah, exactly.
I also liked how kind of the stormtroopers got a little bit more
Life in them.
oomph. Like they're a little bit more.
Yeah, because they were very 2D characters in the other movies. You never got like a feel of what it was like to be a stormtrooper.
But by sheer force of numbers, it seemed to be more of a plausible threat.
Yeah,
Do you know
and
what I
not
mean?
only that, but they got better.
That's what I mean. That's like,
Like,
they
no, I
went from
mean,
being
like,
these-
they're more skilled, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
when
They actually
in the
shoot
opening
people
scene,
now.
yeah,
occasionally.
and
Yes.
hit, and like they land the targets.
I loved the bit where one random stormtrooper spotted Finn and was like, "You traitor," and had that weird electro H thing.
Yes,
Kinda like a
Fight,
chainsaw.
Yes,
yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
Yeah.
grips. I don't know. Anyway.
The anti-Jedi
Exactly.
thing.
It's strange that they had one of them though.
Yeah, just
like,
just
also
one
not.
person out of the blue.
But they also said like lightsabers are such an old-fashioned gimmicky weapon that who doesn't use blasters? So why would they have one of these guys on their team?
Because look who's running them, and he's like they're actively looking for Luke.
He's
The First
probably-
Order are
this is
actively
true.
looking for
He's
Luke.
probably a Wookiee herder. He just uses it
Yeah.
to walk him along or something. Sorry, Chewie.
Oh, poor Chewie. Moving on. Game of the year. I'm going to be really quick out the door. I'm going to just say it's a perfect tie between Rocket League and Until Dawn.
Rocket League, very addictive.
Rocket League.
Where did that come from? Rocket League should not be successful.
It should get out.
But it shouldn't be. Like, when you look at what it is on paper, it shouldn't be. It just... I don't know what happened. It just captured everyone's imagination. It's based on football.
Which
And
for us is a
Destruction
big
It's
deal.
not a thing at
What?
all. I suppose it's reminiscent of Top Gear when they did that
Yeah.
giant ball episode with the minis.
I'll
That was
have
cool.
to research and get the facts right, but I'm pretty sure that it has made something crazy, like over 200% profit on because it cost them nothing to make. Like it was just I'll just do this on the sly just while I'm doing my day job, and then it's made so much money that they can just retire now. Like
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Oh, like a kid could have made that game in college. Like,
Oh, yeah,
What do you mean
very
though they
basic.
made 200% profit if it cost them nothing to make?
no, not literally nothing. I mean, comparatively, like the amount of money they've made, it cost them comparatively nothing.
Okay.
So like, if it cost them €1 to make, then they're getting €200 back. So it's just like €1
It's a
to
massive
make 200.
return.
Yeah, massive return. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's crazy. Game of the year.
My game of the
Try to
year
title.
is a game that has taken blood, sweat, and tears out of me in ample quantities. That game is Bloodborne, which I have yet to finish because it's just so much pressure. It's so
devastating.
much pressure. It's so difficult, which is great. It doesn't pull its punches at all. It's dark. It's intriguing. I still haven't a clue what's going on, even though I'm about halfway through the game. I'm going to say,
I think.
are we more than halfway?
We're more than halfway.
About more than halfway through the game.
We're tied.
Like
We're on the game.
some other games have come out, like Fallout's come out. It's distracted me for a while. I'm playing a bit more Dragon Age again. That's distracting me. Final Fantasy X remake I'm playing. That's also distracting me. But God, you can't go back to Bloodborne. Every weekend it's like, is this the weekend I'll go back to Bloodborne? And I'm like, no, I can't face the torture. I can't. It's But fantastic game.
It sounds it.
I realise I'm not selling this well, but
no, you're not.
oh,
Francis?
Well, I'm a bit of a late comer. Like, I only recently bought a PS4 in January of 2016, but I am playing a game that was released in 2014, so it's going to be my
So if
game
you
of
split the difference.
2015. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you do have a gaming history, so you're
I
not,
do, yeah, but like 2015 was a pretty bleak patch for me. Like, I didn't really play any games. However, I did buy Dragon Age Inquisition, and I'm loving it. It's unbelievable. We've already talked about how good Dragon Age is in general. Take all those comments, apply it to Dragon Age Inquisition,
Insert here.
and it's the exact, like, it's the bee's knees.
Exactly. Okay, I think we are wrapping up, because I think what we'll do is we're in the top of our next episode. We are going to talk about the upcoming year. What are we excited about? What are we looking forward to? And we will rant about it for quite a lot. So to wrap up, we're going to give our listener one.
Hi, Fran's mom.
Hi, Fran's mom. Our listener, one zombie survive when the zombie apocalypse comes. What's your one tip?
God.
Yeah, I'm being that person. What's your one tip that you'll say, this is what you need to do to survive? It can be at any stage. It can be at the initial breakout. It can be barricading your home. It can be when you're traveling the wilderness. Okay, I'm gonna.
The upcoming zombie apocalypse.
It's inevitable.
It's imminent.
Stage,
Okay. Oh God, we're starting with me. Why are we looking at me?
Okay,
we're
Francis, you
starting
can start.
No, we're looking at Jay. We're looking at Jay.
Right, go on, Jay.
Okay, people, do not trim your hedges. That extra growth will repel zombies and.
Is that an innuendo or literal?
No, literal hedges, Francis. Literal hedges. Sorry, Fran's mom.
They're
literal
disgusted
hedges.
by bad topiary.
Don't trim them. Make them a little bit higher. Those zombies won't be able to fall over and get into your garden as easy. That's what I'm saying. That's good, solid advice. You're not going to get that anywhere else.
I don't think you can. I don't think you would want to get that tip anywhere else. Fran?
I think invest in some soundproof headphones so you can listen to your tunes during the zombie apocalypse without attracting any zombies.
And then a zombie breaks
not
into your house
hear
and you
them.
don't hear him.
Also, you won't be one of those annoying people on the back of the bus listening to music out loud.
Oh,
Yes.
Now, will public transport run during the zombie apocalypse? Remains to be seen. But either way, it still works.
We've reached out to Dublin Bus, but there's been no response.
not as of yet. My tip is to, when you hear of the zombie apocalypse, to plug all your sinks and your bath and start filling with water, because running water is going to be the first thing to go.
Speaking of plugging, let's plug our website, guys.
Oh, segue!
Beautiful.
Fran out.
Drop mic. Don't
We
drop
only
the
have
mic.
one
It's
mic. You
expensive.
can't drop it.
Alright, so where can people find us, Francis?
Well, people can find us on www.geeksinthecloset.com. It's our home website.
Yes, indeed.
They have other options,
they
though.
want to follow us, on the
If they want to follow us on the Twitter machine, Geeks in the Closet at Geeks ITC, they can reach us there.
at Geeks ITC, and we're also on Facebook as well. Just search for Geeks in the Closet as a group and you will find us. Thank you very much for listening, Fran's mom. If you could please rate us on the iTunes store or whatever kind of podcast, Podbean, Podcast Addict, any kind of service you have, and share everything as well. Thank you very much for listening, and this is the Geeks in the Closet out.
This has been Fran.
This is Conor.
And Jay.